And I share their concerns very deeply. I'm also concerned about stolen goods. Mr. Bezos, are stolen goods sold on Amazon?
Congresswoman, not to my knowledge, although we're more than 1 million sellers, and so I'm sure that there have been stolen goods
Really, Mr.
sold on
Bezos?
Amazon.
Really, Mr. Bezos?
I'm sorry.
There's not?
I'm-
You don't believe that there is?
I
That
said,
surprises me.
no, I just said I'm with over 1 million sellers. I'm sure that it has happened, but certainly I don't think it's a large part of what we're selling.
Okay, so Mr. Bezos, basically then you're saying yes.
I guess so.
Okay, so I want to ask you about information that you require from sellers to prevent the sale of stolen goods. Do you require a real name and address, yes or no?
For sellers?
Once again, do you require a real name and address from sellers?
I believe we do, but let me get back to your office with I'd rather give you the accurate answer, but I think we do.
Right. And I'm aware that you are. So yes, you do require a name and address. Do you require a phone number, yes or no?
I don't know if it's required. I think we often have it, but I don't know.
So briefly then, how do you verify that each of these pieces of information is accurate?
I don't know the answer to your question.
So you don't know how many people work on verifying seller verification before the seller is allowed to sell on Amazon?
No, Congresswoman, I don't.
Okay, then I'm going to ask you, sir, will you commit to reporting all sales of stolen and counterfeit goods to law enforcement, and to victims to track large-scale offenders engaged in organized retail crime?
To the degree that we're aware of it, we will certainly pursue it. In fact, I would.
Sir, can you just make a blanket commitment? Can you just make a blanket commitment, whether you're aware of it or not?
A blanket commitment to what? Sorry, Congresswoman, I'm trying to be helpful.
Reporting all sales of stolen and counterfeit goods to law enforcement and to victims to track large-scale offenders engaged in organized retail crime.
I see no reason why, if we're aware of stolen goods, we wouldn't report it. We would want the correct law enforcement authorities to be involved.
Okay, thank you so much. I yield back my time.
Thank the gentlelady for yielding back. I want to thank the witnesses for their testimony today and my colleagues on both sides of the aisle. I also want to acknowledge the extraordinary work of our team, led by Slade Bond, Lena Kahn, Amanda Lewis, Phil Barenbrook, Anna Leinhardt, and Joe Venoy, who have done an extraordinary job throughout this investigation and in preparation for our hearing today. Today, we had the opportunity to hear from the decision makers at 4 of the most powerful companies in the world. This hearing has made one fact clear to me. These companies as they exist today have monopoly power. Some need to be broken up, all need to be properly regulated and held accountable. We need to ensure the antitrust laws first written more than a century ago work in the digital age. When these laws were written, the monopolists were men named Rockefeller and Carnegie. Their control of the marketplace allowed them to do whatever it took to crush independent businesses and expand their own power. Well, the names have changed, but the story is the same. Today, the men are named Zuckerberg, Cook, Pichai, and Bezos. Once again, their control of the marketplace allows them to do whatever it takes to crush independent business and expand their own power. This must end. This subcommittee will next publish a report on the findings of our investigation. We will propose solutions to the problems before us. As a great American Supreme Court Justice Louis Brandeis once said, we must make our choice. We may have democracy, or we may have wealth concentrated in the hands of a few, but we can't have both. This concludes today's hearing. Thank you again to our witnesses for attending. Without objection, all members will have 5 legislative days to submit additional written questions for the witnesses or additional materials for the record. Without objection, this hearing is adjourned.
All right, this is What's the 411 live. Unfortunately, we caught the very end of this hearing, and they were talking about from where we picked up at Google having some type of access to Android phones, and they said that they were using it for data to do something with. I kind of caught the butt end of it. So they were testifying Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook. I got to look up Tim Cook and see what he's involved in, what companies he has. I remember the name, I just can't remember the companies. And of course, Sundar Pichai, which Larry and Sergey put in place to be Google's CEO. I did a What's the 411 on Larry and Sergey stepping down from their position and putting Sundar Pichai in the CEO position. So I guess, I didn't have too many. There weren't too many videos. I mean, too many views on that particular episode, but I knew something was up. That's why I did that particular story on it. And so there you have it on that. All right. And so that's what that is here. Let me see something. Oh, there we go. All right. Yeah. So there you go. The hearings, man. Caught the butt end of it. I'll probably be checking it out. We'll be checking it out later on and maybe give you guys a broadcast involving that. Very interesting. Like I said, I didn't get too many views on YouTube in regards to that, about Larry and Sergey stepping down from Google and putting Sundar Pichai in place. All right. And so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. What's the 411? The testifying, the hearings of Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook, and Sundar Pichai. I'm going to be keeping my eye on that. I'm going to be checking that out later on, seeing what's going on with that. This is What's the 411, man. The live version. We'll probably keep the live version going a little more. All right. So we thank y'all guys for coming in and checking out the show. What's the 411? And we out. Peace.